Good morning, everyone. I am R.V. Kiran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Chevron Engineering College. Today in this class, I am going to explain the two manufacturing methods of polymer matrix composites. First one is the prepreg. It is a widely used method, and second one is the one of the methods in the molding methods, that is injection molding. So in the earlier classes, we have studied about the different manufacturing methods, that is autoclave, spray layup, hand layup, pultrusion. So there are different types, resin transfer molding. In this class, we are going to see the remaining methods, and this is my 25th class regarding to the subject advanced materials. Today topic is prepreg. So this is one of the manufacturing method of the polymer matrix composites. Prepreg is the composite industry term for continuous fiber reinforcement. So for using the method of continuous fiber reinforcement, we are going to give it is a industry name. So it is we are going to give a term for it, that is known as prepreg, and it is the pre-impregnated with a polymer resin that is only partially cured. So partially cured means that is semi-liquid in state and semi-solid in state, not in particular as a liquid or a solid. So it is a pre-impregnated with a polymer resin that is only partially cured, and this prepreg is delivered in the tape form to manufacturer, who then molds and fully cures the product without having to add any type of resin. So this is a readily mixture. So when we have to made a composite or a readily composite, we are going to use it with the prepreg. They are going to use the deliver it with the prepreg, which is in the form of a tape. So it is a thin tape form, and fully cures the product, and they are going to fully cures the product also without having any resin, without having or adding any type of resin. This is the composite form, mostly widely used for the structural applications. So these prepreg is highly used in the structural applications. So for the purpose of structures, for building the structures and designing the interior structures, they are going to use the composite widely. And next you can see the example here in the below picture. So the top of the layer is the polyethylene film, which you can see in the dark color, and bottom one is the silicone release paper, which is in the light color, silicone release paper. And in between the polyethylene film and the silicone release paper, there is the unidirectional composite, that is which it mean it is having in the only one direction only. Unidirectional means only one directional, that is only one directional path. So that is the unidirectional composite. And first layer is the polyethylene film, which we are using as a polymer composite, and last one is the silicone release paper. So these are the different types of composites, and this is the reinforcement added in here. So this is the example layer. So here we are using the polyethylene and silicone paper as the examples here. So these are the combined to form a tape form. So here there you can see the tape, which is a lengthy structure and a thin. The thickness of the film is very less. There you can see it in the prepreg model. So this is an example for the prepreg. Coming to the process. So coming to the process, this manufacturing process begins by collimating a series of spool-wound continuous fiber tows. So there in the picture you can see the spooled fibers. So this is the spooled fibers, which is also called rovings here. So you can also put a name to it. It is called as rovings also. That is known as spool-wound continuous fiber tows. And these tows are then sandwiched and pressed between the sheets. Sandwiched means that is there is a different panels, so different structured panels in the sandwich model. So the difference between the sandwich and a laminate have been seen in the earlier lectures also. So what is the difference between lamina and a sandwich, laminate and a sandwich? So in the laminate, there is a similar type of patterns and similar type of layers observed on the structure. But when coming to the sandwich, there is a different number of layers. So there is a different structures there. So the variations in the sandwich is very high. So when comparing to the sandwich with the panel, sandwich gets very different in model, which gets very different materials in each and every layer. So these tows are then sandwiched and pressed between the sheets of release and carrier papers. So there are two types of papers observed in the prepregs. One on the upside one, that is the release paper. You can see it in the goldish color. Next, this carrier paper is seen in the blue color, which is on the bottom side. So this is the carrier paper and this is the release paper. So this is the release paper. So these are rolling it in the someone, and in between that these spooled fibers are pressed and sandwiched between this carrier paper and release paper. So carrier paper and release paper using heated rollers. So these are the heated rollers in between the two layers. So first one is the release paper and second one is the carrier paper. This process is called as the calendaring process. So this process is basically called as the calendaring process also. So calendaring means putting a intermediate portion between the two ordered layers. So that is release paper and carrier paper are the two generated layers, and in between that these sandwich panel of the spooled fibers are pressed in between by using the heated rollers. So there is also known as calendar rollers, that is known as calendering. And the release paper sheet has been coated with a thin film of heated resin solution to provide for its thorough impregnation of the fibers. So when you have to stitch the spooled fibers in between the two release paper, that is two papers, you have to be form a thin heated solution, that is the heated resin solution, to provide its thorough impregnation of the fibers. So you have to be some liquid one. So that is the difference between the two. And the final prepreg product is a thin tape consisting of continuous and aligned fibers embedded in a partially cured room. So this final prepreg product is a thin tape consisting of continuous and aligned fibers embedded in a partially cured resin. So in the top of the picture you can see the blade cutting the different types of lengths. So what are the wanted lengths to be in the process, that is to be cutted in that by the doctor blade, and this hopper containing the heated resin. So it is impregnated in the release paper to stitch the spooled fibers appropriately. So that is the main application of the hopper containing heated resin. So that is the process of prepreg. So you have seen it in the picture also, that is the basic process of the prepreg. Coming to the characteristics, so generally the prepreg is stored at 0 degrees centigrade. So generally the prepreg is stored at the 0 degrees, that is at the solid state, that is the cooling at the room temperatures only, curing at room temperatures. And the Fahrenheit is 32 degrees. So we also know that 0 degrees centigrade means 32 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, because matrix undergoes curing reactions at room temperature only. So this matrix undergoes curing at the room temperature, but it is not fully cured, so partially cured. So we are going to put it in the 0 degrees centigrade. By taking it from the 0 degrees centigrade and come to the room temperature, it will be cured. So that is, we are not curing the full prepreg here. That is why we are storing it at the 0 degrees centigrade. Also, the time is used at room temperature must be minimized. So the time used at the room temperature also must be very minimal in time, that is very low in time. And lifetime is about 6 months if properly handled. So the lifetime of the prepreg thin film is about up to 6 months only. That is, if we properly handled the tape production, we are going to give it a lifetime of 6 months only, up to 6 months, not above than 6 months. But if we are not properly handled, it will come up to 4 to 5 months only, not up to full time, that is 6 months. Next, both thermoplastic and thermosetting resins are utilized in this reinforcement. So both thermoplastic and thermosetting resins also can be utilized in this structure. Next, carbon, glass and aramid fibers are the common reinforcements. So the common reinforcements used in the prepreg models are carbon, glass, and aramid fibers. But we can use both the thermoplastic and thermosettings resins also. There is no difference between these two. We can use it anyway, that is in the thermoplastic way or the thermosetting way. But the common reinforcements used in these are the carbon, glass, and the aramid fibers. These are the common reinforcements used. Next, actual fabrication begins with the layup. So actual fabrication begins with the layup means we are producing a layer by layer method in this process also. That is the meaning of this layup. So this production of layup is, or fabrication of layup is started in the hand layup method. So when we are going to put a resin on it, we are going to use a soft solution on it, that is a gel coat. Then we are applying the resin, and then we are applying the dry reinforcement there. So that is a layup process. So we are producing a layer by layer process. And the second method used for the layup process is also spray layup method. So in the spray layup also we are using the same type of method, that is the same layup method. So that is about the actual fabrication begins with the layup. Next, normally a number of plies are laid up to provide the desired thickness. So number of plies means number of pressure handles used in the process are used to provide the desired thickness of the method. So when we are going to put a desired thickness, we are going to produce the plies. Next, the layup can be by hand or automated. So we can use the both methods. It will be manual or automated process. So we can use it by any way, that is the layup can be by hand or automated process. And last one is the easily obtained with the epoxies. So these can be easily obtained during the epoxies also. So these are the different characteristics of the prepreg method. Next, these prepregs are prepared by packaging, prepared for packaging by winding onto a cardboard core. We are taking a mandrel or cardboard core to winding it. So for winding of the prepreg tape, we are going to pack this by winding process only. Next, typical tape thickness ranges between 0.08 and 0.25 mm. So the tape thickness ranges between the 0.08 mm to 0.25 mm. So it is a very rare thick material. So it is less than 1 mm. So 0.25 mm means it is a quarter part of the 1 mm. So it is very less. So the thickness of the tape production for the prepreg is very low, that is less than 1 mm only. Next, tape widths range between 25 and 1525 mm. So that is up to these ranges between the length is ranged between the 25 mm to 1525 mm, that is up to 1.5 meters. That is 2.5 centimeter to 1.5 meters. So the range between these two tape ranges between these is 2.5 centimeters to 1.5 meter. And last one, the resin content lies between about 35 to 45% volume. So the resin content is up to 35 to 45% only. The remaining is the solid particles and the reinforcement particles. So these are the characteristics of the Pipreg model. Look it for a while. So that is about the pre-preg process. Next one is the injection molding process. So this is the regularly used method in the molding process. So molding top processes, and this is a closed mold process. So this is a very closed mold process in which molten polymer commonly used is thermoplastics only, not thermosetting. So molten polymers is mixed with very short reinforced fibers. So these are mixed with the very short reinforced fibers. So the reinforced fibers percentage is 10 to 40% only. So the reinforced fibers used in this is 10 to 40% only, and this is forced under high pressure into a mold cavity through an opening, that is a sprue. Sprue is the opening for the closed mold, and the reinforcements used is up to 10 to 40%. So based upon the purpose, we are going to use the reinforced fibers, and this is a closed process in which molten polymer is mixed with the reinforced polymers. So in this, the molten polymer is used as the commonly used as the thermoplastic only. We are not using the thermosetting resins. Here we are not using the thermo settings, we are only using the thermoplastics only, because for usage of the recycling process, we are going to commonly use the thermoplastic resins only, and these are mixed with the short fibers, and then it is forced under the high pressure into a mold cavity through an sprue. Next, polymer fiber mixture is in the form of a pellets, that is in a small pieces. It fed up into an injection molding machine through a hopper. Hopper means it is an opening which all the contents is sent to through it. That is meant by hopper. We can see it in the next slide through a picture. And the material is then conveyed forward by a feeding screw and forced into a split mold, then filling its cavity through a feeding system with sprue gate and runners. So these are the all the pattern models which we are using the closed mold. So these are sent by through a feeding system with sprue gate and runners. So you all know about the sprues and runners, where you can study in the production technology subject. And The screw of the injection molding machine is called the reciprocating screw. So the screw used for these injection molding process is also known as the reciprocating screw, because it not only rotates but also moves forward and backward. So it also rotates. So that is in the type of bolt and nut. So when you use it to rotate the bolt, it also it not only rotates but it also moving to the forward direction or backward direction. So that is we are that is working in the two way. So moving in the rotational way as well as the reciprocating way, according to the steps of the molding cycle. So according to the molding cycle, these are used. And these reciprocating screw acts as a ram in the filling step when the molten polymer or fiber mixture is injected into the mold, and then it retracts backward in the molding steps. So these are also retracts backward in the molding step also. And the heating elements and placed over the barrel soften and melt the polymer. So the heating elements which is placed over the barrel is used to soften and melt the polymer also. And last one, the mold is equipped with a cooling system providing controlled cooling and solidification of the material. So there it can provide the cooling and solidification of the material also. So this is the picture of the injection molding, where all these pellets are used to send from the hopper. So this is a hopper. సో హాపర్ అంటేనమ్మా తెలుగులో ఎలా ఉంటదంటే ఈ కిరోసిన్ పోసుకోవడానికి ఒక కొవ్వెన్ అంటారు చూసారా, దాన్ని హాపర్ అంటున్నాం అనమాట ఇక్కడ. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ బై ఐరన్ మెటీరియల్, అది మెటల్స్ తో చేసుకోవచ్చు మనకి హాపర్ అనేది. సో జనరల్ గా కిరోసిన్ పోసేది ఏంటంటే ప్లాస్టిక్ హాపర్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో ఓపెనింగ్ అనేది పెద్దదిగా ఉంటది, నెక్ అనేది చిన్నదిగా ఉంటది, తగ్గిపోద్ది అనమాట సైజు, దాన్ని హాపర్ అంటారు. సో ఆ హాపర్ లో నుంచి ఈ పెల్లెట్స్ అనేవి, పెల్లెట్స్ అంటే చిన్న చిన్న పార్టికల్స్ మనకి. సో ఈ షుగర్ పెల్లెట్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి, షుగర్ ఎలా ఉంటుందో అలా ఉంటాయి అమ్మా పెల్లెట్స్ ప్లాస్టిక్. సో అవి దీంట్లోంచి డ్రాప్ చేస్తాం, హాపర్ లో నుంచి డ్రాప్ చేసినాక మనకి ఈ బ్యారెల్లోకి వచ్చేస్తాయి. సో టోటల్ గా ఈ బ్యారెల్లోకి వచ్చేసింది. సో బ్యారెల్లోకి వచ్చేసినాక ఇవన్నీ కూడా హీటర్స్, మనకి బ్లాక్ కలర్ స్ట్రిప్స్ లాగా ఉన్నాయి చూసారా, ఇవన్నీ కూడా హీటర్స్. సో ఈ హీటర్స్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి హీట్ చేస్తుందో ఇది మొత్తం కూడా ఒక లిక్విడ్ స్టేజ్ లోకి వచ్చేసింది అనమాట. సో లిక్విడ్ స్టేజ్ లోకి రాగానే ఈ స్క్రూ అనేది ఫార్వర్డ్ కి జరిగింది, అంటే లోపలికి తోసిద్ది అనమాట. దీన్ని ఇక్కడ మీరు వైట్ కలర్ లో కనిపిస్తుంది చూసారా, గ్రే కలర్ లో. సో ఈ గ్రే కలర్ లో లోపలికి తోస్తుంది. సో తోసినప్పుడు ఈ నాజిల్ లో నుంచి మనకి ఈ స్క్రూ ఎండ్ లో నుంచి మనకి లోపలికి వచ్చేసింది, స్ప్లిట్ మోల్డ్ లోకి వచ్చేసిద్ది అనమాట. సో మనకు కావాల్సినప్పుడు దాన్ని ఏంటంటే ఈ స్క్రూ అనేది రొటేట్ చేస్తారు. స్క్రూ రొటేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏంటంటే ఇది ఫార్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూవ్ అవుతుంది. సో ఫార్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూవ్ అయినప్పుడు మొత్తానికి కూడా లోపలికి తోసేయగలుగుతాం అనమాట. సో లోపలికి ఇంజెక్ట్ చేస్తాం. సో లోపలికి ఇంజెక్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఈ స్ప్లిట్ మోడ్ లోకి, సో ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి క్యూరింగ్ అయిపోద్దో తర్వాత పూర్తిగా ఆరిపోద్ది అది, ఎజెక్టర్ పిన్స్ అనేది మనం ప్లగ్ చేస్తాం, అంటే బయటికి లాగేస్తాం. సో ఎజెక్టర్ పిన్స్ లాగినప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే ఈ స్ప్లిట్ మోల్డ్ ఏమవుతుంది, ఒక పీస్ అనేది రిలీజ్ అయిపోతుంది. రిలీజ్ అయ్యగానే పక్కకి వచ్చేసింది బయటికి, దాంతో పాటు ఈ మోల్డ్ ను కూడా మనం తీసేసుకోవచ్చు. సో అలా మనం ఇంజెక్షన్ మోల్డింగ్ అనేది యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇంజెక్షన్ మోల్డింగ్ ఏంటంటే బేసిక్ గా పైనుంచి మనకి ఈ పెల్లెట్స్ అనే వాటిని, అంటే ఏదైతే ప్లాస్టిక్ ఉంటున్నాయో మనకి అవన్నీ కూడా దీంట్లో సాలిడ్ ఫామ్స్ లో వేసేస్తాం. సాలిడ్ ఫామ్స్ లో వేసినాక ఈ బ్యారెల్ ఏదైతే మనకి హీటర్స్ పెట్టాం, హీటర్స్ ఏమవుతుందంటే హీట్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. సో బ్యారెల్ లో పార్టికల్స్ మొత్తాన్ని హీట్ చేసిద్ది. సో కొద్దిసేపటికి ఏమైపోద్ది అంటే ఆ హీట్ చేసిన పార్టికల్స్ మొత్తం కూడా మనకి లిక్విడ్ స్టేజ్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అనమాట, అంటే లిక్విడ్ లాగా అయిపోతుంది. సో ఎప్పుడైతే లిక్విడ్ లాగా అయిపోతుందో ఈ స్క్రూ, మనం ఈ రెసిప్రొకేటింగ్ స్క్రూ అనుకున్నాం కదా, ఇది రెసిప్రొకేటింగ్ స్క్రూ అనేది రొటేట్ చేస్తారు. రొటేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇది ఫార్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూవ్ అయింది. సో మూవ్ అయ్యగానే దాంట్లో పుష్ అయ్యిద్ది అనమాట. పుష్ అవ్వగానే మనకి ఈ నాజిల్ నుంచి స్క్రూ ద్వారా మనకి ఈ స్ప్లిట్ మోల్డ్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోద్ది. సో ఎప్పుడైతే క్యూర్ అయిపోతుందో ఆ ఎజెక్టర్ పిన్స్ అనేది మనం పుష్ చేసేస్తే మనకు మౌల్డ్ అనేది రిలీజ్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో ఇది బేసిక్ ప్రాసెస్ మనకి ఇంజెక్షన్ మోల్డింగ్ లో. So this is the basic process which you can see in the injection molding. So the main parts of the injection molding process are, first one is the hopper, which is used as a opening for dropping the pellets. Second one is the screws fixed on it, and the heaters. So the heaters attach it to the barrel, and the nozzle sprue, which is an intermediate link between the nozzle and the split mold, and then the ejector pins. So these are the main parts used in the injection molding process. So here we are going to see the process of injection molding. First of all, the polymer is held in the mold until solidification, and then the mold opens and the part is removed from the mold by the ejector pins. So by removing it from the ejector pins, the molded part is removed from the mold. Then injection molding is used mainly for the thermoplastic matrices only, but these thermosetting matrices are also may be extruded. So these are also can be extruded. In this case, curing occurs during the heating and melting of the material in the heated barrel. So these are used in the material in the heated barrel only. This is in the cross-linking structure. And a principal scheme of an injection molding machine is shown in the next picture. So next slide we can see the injection molding machine. Then this injection molding is highly productive method which provides the high accuracy and control of the shape of the manufactured parts. So this is also used to the control shape of the manufactured parts, which provides the high accuracy and control. So generally injection molding method is used for high accuracy and controlling of shape of manufactured parts only. Then the method is profitable in mass production of large number of identical parts. So identical parts means same type of products have been produced in the mass production. So the number of varieties is very less and the production is very high. That is, large number of identical parts have been produced in the mass production by injection molding process, injection molding method, and this is very profitable comparing to the other methods. So there is no skilled labor used for this process also. So it is a very easy learning process compared to the other methods. That is why this method is very profitable in mass production of large identical parts. So large number of identical parts. Next, one of the disadvantages of this method is limited length of fibers decreasing their reinforcing effect. So the main disadvantage of this method is limited length, so which is used in the limiting length of fibers, which they are decreasing their reinforcing effects. So that is the main disadvantage there. So apart from that, it is a very profitable method which is used in the mass production of large number of identical parts. In this picture you can see the injection molding machine and different parts of the injection molding machine. So first of all, there is a it starts from the right side. So there you can see the right side, it is a screw motor drive which is used to rotate the shaft. Next there is the hopper. So this black colored opening is called the hopper, which is used to send the raw plastic there, raw plastic pellets into the barrel. So that there is the hopper, which is used as the opening for the sending the raw plastic. Then this is sent to the barrel. So there you can see the molten plastic which is seen in the red color. This is the molten plastic there, and these grayish color external fixtures are the heaters. So heaters of the barrel, and from the barrel there is a nozzle, and this is the reciprocating screw, so which is used to rotate and push the molten metal into the mold cavity, that is mold core. So this is the tie bar and stationary platen, and center one is the brownish color is the mold cavity, and second one is the mold core, and the last one is the movable plate, so which is used to fix it through the ejector pins when you are going to take the mold from the molded part. So the ejector pins is released from it. So this is the ejector bar here, and this is the ejection system, so which is used to touch with the molded part. So this is the process of the injection molding machine. So this process is start from the right side of the picture. So process అనేది రైట్ సైడ్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందమ్మా. సో హాపర్ అనేది మనకి ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ ఏదైతే ఉందో థర్మో ప్లాస్టిక్స్ యూస్ చేస్తున్నాం చిన్న చిన్న పీసెస్ గా మనకి అవన్నీ కూడా డ్రాప్ చేసి ఓపెనింగ్ లాగా అన్నమాట మనకి. సో అది బ్యారెల్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సో బ్యారెల్ ఏమవుతుందంటే హీటర్స్ ద్వారా హీట్ అవుతుంది. అక్కడ హీట్ అయినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఆ ప్లాస్టిక్ సాలిడ్ మొత్తం కూడా మనకి మోల్టన్ అయిపోతుంది. మోల్టన్ అంటే కరిగిపోవటం, లిక్విడ్ స్టేజ్ లోకి వచ్చేయటం అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ ది మోల్టన్ ప్లాస్టిక్. సో అక్కడ నుంచి మనకి బ్యారల్ నుంచి నాజిల్ లోకి వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో నాజిల్ నుంచి మనకి మోల్డ్ క్యావిటీలోకి ఈ పూర్తిగా మోల్టన్ ప్లాస్టిక్ అనేది వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సో ఎప్పుడైతే క్యూర్ అవుతుందో ఎజెక్టార్ పిన్స్ నుంచి ఎజెక్టర్ సిస్టమ్ ద్వారా మనం పుల్ చేస్తే బ్యాక్ సైడ్ కి మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్ అనేది బయటకు వచ్చేసింది. సో ఇక్కడ రెడ్ కలర్ లో చూస్తే ఇదే మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ది షేప్ ఆఫ్ సి అండ్ త్రీ షేప్. సో ఆ 3 షేప్ లో ఉంది మొత్తం కూడా మనకి మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్. సో ఎప్పుడైతే ఇక్కడ పూర్తిగా అయిపోయింది అనుకుంటున్నామో ఇక్కడ ఈ రెసిప్రొకేటింగ్ స్క్రూ అనేది స్టాప్ చేస్తాం అనమాట. ఈ స్క్రూ మోటార్ డ్రైవ్ ఉంది కదా దాన్ని ఆఫ్ చేసేస్తాం. ఆఫ్ చేయగానే ఈ మోల్టల్ ప్లాస్టిక్ మొత్తం కూడా దాంట్లోకి వెళ్ళడం ఆగిపోతుంది. సో అట్లా ఈ నోజిల్ క్లోజ్ చేసేస్తాం. అలా ఈ రెసిప్రొకేటింగ్ స్క్రూ అనేది మనకి స్టాప్ చేయబట్టి ఈ మోల్టన్ నోజిల్ ద్వారా మోల్టన్ మెటల్ అనేది వెళ్ళడం ఆగిపోద్ది. అక్కడ లోపల ఈ మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్ అనేది క్యూరింగ్ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. క్యూరింగ్ అయిపోయి మనకి మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్ అనేది బయటకు వస్తుంది. సో ప్రొడ్యూస్డ్ మోల్డెడ్ పార్ట్. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ది injection molding machine. So any doubts? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయమ్మా ఎవరికన్నా? Okay, thank you.